Hi everyone, welcome to A Beer with Brad, episode 29. Hope everyone had a great 4th of July. Hope you got out and took some firework photos or just had fun. Nice long 4-day weekend for a lot of people, so hope everyone enjoyed it. Tonight I'm going to talk about the College World Series and the photography I did down there, but first let's talk about the beer. Tonight I'm having a Dingerville lager from Kros Strain Brewing Company. The reason I picked the Dingerville lager is because Dingerville has been part of the College World Series history for a long, long time now, and this year Kros Strain tried to recreate a Dingerville I don't know if you called it like a recreation, but they had a kind of a party atmosphere set up by the Kros Strain Draft Works that they called Dingerville, and they made a Dingerville lager for it. So the Dingerville lager is just a nice, light, easy drinking beer flavored beer. Only 4.2%, so nice light summer beer, great for a ball game, and it even has the baseball stitching on the sides. Well, first of all, I want to say thanks to everyone that stopped out to the Countryside Village Art Fair. It was a good weekend. Nice to see a lot of people. There's always people that swing by and say that they watch Beer with Brad, and that's fun to hear. Overall, the art fair was kind of slow. It was one of the slowest ones I've ever had, but it's still fun to get all the photos out and get. Most of the time the photos are just sitting here in boxes and I don't get to see them, so it's fun to have them all up on the wall and talk to people about photography and the adventures. All the cool places I go see and take pictures. So that was a lot of fun. So next month, the 30th episode of Beer with Brad will be my annual question and answer video. It's been a little over a year since the last question and answer video, so it's time to do that again. I have a few questions already written down from emails and different questions people have asked over the last couple months, so already got a start on it, but I'd like to hear what you have to say. So you can send me an email, brad@bradwilliamsphotography.com, message me on any of the social media platforms, and ask a question, and I'll do my best to answer. The question and answers are always a lot of fun. I always get a lot of questions. So I probably could do it twice a year, but I try to just leave it to once a year. Keep all the good questions rolling in. So again, submit your questions next month. That'd be the August episode. So the August Beer with Brad, the annual question and answer videos. So tonight I want to talk about my College World Series photography. So for those of you that don't know, I've been photographing the College World Series almost every year since 2010. 2010 was an awesome year. That year I was hired by UCLA to be their team photographer. It was also the last year at Rosenblatt, so there's a lot of special stuff that year. UCLA won the national championship, so cool to have my picture of UCLA celebrating on the field on the UCLA website as their main banner page. So cool. A lot of cool memories from that one, and then throughout the years I've worked for a number of teams, and then a lot of the years I just worked for the White and Blue Review, which is the Creighton fan website that I work for, covering all the other Creighton sports. Back when I first started doing this in 2010, most of the teams would hire a local photographer to take pictures for them, and now most of the teams bring a whole crew of photographers and social media people up here. So not many of them hire as many local people as they used to, but I love working for the White and Blue Review because it gives me a lot more freedom to kind of go around and take the pictures I want to take. When I was working for the teams, it was very scripted. All these different pictures you need to catch before the game, during the game, after the game, and just there's a lot of things I was always worried I was going to miss, and I never really got to go out and seek out those creative pictures I wanted to do. So White and Blue Review is very laid back. It's we have Matt DeMarinis, who's a writer. He writes a story about every game, and then Ken and I, we take pictures. Ken was there a lot more games than I was this year. Ken was nearly at all of them, and then I went to about half. So go to whiteandbluereview.com. You can see all our photos. You can see Matt's stories. And then the very last game, the championship game when LSU won it all, I actually put an album on my Brad Williams Photography Facebook page. But I just kind of wanted to go through some of those photos from that night. A lot of cool stuff. So you've been doing this for nearly 15 years now, and I've had some really good games. I've had some really bad games, but that very last game of the 2023 series was, I think, my most complete game that I've ever had. The collection of photos that I put out that night, everything came together. It was great light, beautiful weather, great crowd, fun game, and just I want to say it is one of my best baseball albums ever. So go through, kind of start at the beginning here. Normally I don't take too many pre-game, like the whole festivities, teams warming up type picture. Just kind of, I don't know. If it's interesting, if there's something to interest, it's all right. If I can get a good, clean shot, that's all right too. The thing is now with these schools, they send so many photographers and social media people that anytime there's any activity where before or after the game, all those photographers and social media people are all on the field kind of crowding around. So it's kind of hard to get a clean shot. So I take them when I can, but I also, those kind of photos don't interest me as much unless it's like a real special moment type thing. So I usually try to include one or two in an album I turn in, but I don't stress about it if I don't get one. So, tonight this night I got the coaches doing fielding practice with the team, LSU's coaches before the game. Florida, stand there for the national anthem. Nothing too special about this. It was just kind of I don't know, I like the way the light was coming off the sides of their faces, and there was no one blocking my view. Got the Florida's opening pitcher. Now this one, not the best, because I was on the third base side and he was a lefty, so his back is mostly to me, but kind of neat with the LSU runner on first base. He's kind of blurred out in the background, but it kind of tells you the story that he's pitching, the LSU's up to bat, has a runner. Next one here is the same pitcher, and it's actually after he's thrown the ball and kind of on his follow through. Then he is kind of facing me. I usually try to always have at least one of the athletes, especially hopefully the subject. I always try to have their face in the picture. Sometimes you don't get it, or sometimes you have like a side profile or back shot and their name on the jersey. But it's one of those things in sports photography. It really tells a story if you have the athlete's face in the picture. Next one, Florida catching a ball. This is cool because the ball is just this close to being in his glove. Now the thing with the sports photography, I still use my old Canon 5D Mark III, which is a little bit slower when it comes to frames per second. It's an awesome camera. It still does great. And I don't want to use the R5 for two reasons. A, because that's the one I like to use for my landscape and architecture, cityscape stuff where I want to make the really big prints, the high resolution. I'm trying to keep it nice, trying to keep it clean. Doing the sports, I kind of beat up the cameras. And I can get for what I'm doing, I feel like I'm getting good enough photos. And like sometimes you get lucky where the ball, like this one, the ball is just about in the glove perfectly. But there's other times you'll see the ball's still about a foot and a half. Some of the new cameras that people are using are absolutely crazy. The new Nikon is actually always recording while you have it on. And so like if you are waiting for the ball to get in his glove, you can actually have a setting where if you hit the button, it'll go back 1 second and record 30, it'll take 30 pictures, go back in time and take 30 pictures. So all you have to do is wait until you see the glove close, hit that button, and then you have a perfect shot. You pick out the one where the ball's just touching the glove, and then throw the other 29 pictures away. Same with batting. You go up, you get the camera set up, you're recording, you're on the batter, and as soon as you hear the bat, you don't even have to be watching. As soon as you hear the bat hit the ball, hit that button, it goes back in time, takes 30 images, you select the one where the ball's on the edge of the bat, throw the other 29 away, and you have your perfect... It's almost cheating. Like, I mean, I know it's not cheating, but the journalists from all the media outlets are there to get the shot where, I'm there just kind of capture an event. So their jobs actually depend on getting that perfect shot. But moral of the story is I still use an older camera. When I get the picture like this where the ball is just above his glove, it's a fun catch, and if it's still a foot above, no big deal. And I also, besides using, go back to that real quick, I have a Canon 400mm 2.8 lens, which is a very fast lens, great in low light. And then I have the Sigma 150 to 600. And basically this Cultural Series, my plan was during the day to use the Sigma. We didn't get well, for the white and blue review, there was three of us, Ken, Matt, and I. We got one parking pass, so two of us were walking. So I volunteered to walk, and then in the days in the daylight when I didn't need the big fast lens, I brought that Canon 150 to 600 because it's the f6.3 lens, and so the awesome thing in the bright light is I have that extra zoom, that extra 200 millimeters over the 400 millimeter lens. So some of these shots where I was in there tight, they really came out nice. But on the last day, I wasn't thinking, and I didn't bring the 400 millimeter, and it was a night game. Obviously the game starts in the afternoon, but it was a night game. So I was a little bit worried, but end of the game, went back and looked at all these photos, and I was like, I had nothing to worry about. I did not need to bring that 400. And having that range of 150 millimeters through 600 millimeters at a baseball field was awesome. So kind of it was a happy mistake where I learned that I can get away with using that slower lens at nighttime. And it made for some really nice images. Here's just a close-up. I saw one of the players with his shades on, smiling and kind of looking right towards me. LSU starting pitcher, he was a righty, so he was facing right at me in the third base. So the camera wells that we were in are right beyond the dugout on the first base side and the third base side. So this particular game, I stayed in the third base dugout the whole game. This is one where something got in my way. I don't remember if it was the umpire or I believe it was the umpire because I'm looking out towards left field. Got in my way, so I actually missed the catch, but I got the guys throwing the ball, and just the way that he was arched back with the sunlight on him, I thought it was a nice photo, so I included it in my album. Has his teammate backing him up behind him, which is kind of cool too. You don't always get that in the outfielder photos. Another picture of the LSU starting pitcher. This one was kind of same thing. You got the Florida guy on base behind him. He's blurred out, but it's telling a story. This one, so when you're in that dugout, there's a lot of people that can get in your way. You got the base coach, the third baseman, the third base umpire, and then also the shortstop. So this particular picture, I missed the slide into second base. One of those people I just listed off got my way, but it's kind of neat how he just stopped on the base and watched what was going on at first. So I kind of thought that was interesting. Also has a really nice light on the front of him, some nice shadows. So included that one. This one, Florida just scored. They're tapping helmets. Nothing too special about this one, but I just kind of liked how they were kind of cheersing each other with their helmets. This was a Florida batter running to first base, and the LSU first baseman, and the ball actually missed his glove and hit the guy. As you can see right here, it just hit him right in the pocket. So kind of an interesting picture. Again, this is another one where sometimes my slower camera probably would have missed this, but just had good luck that night and the timing of the ball hitting him right on the pocket. And then the first baseman's expression is kind of interesting too. Nice, well-lit picture of the LSU base runner sliding into second base and already out, but the second baseman or shortstop throwing the ball at first base. I don't remember which guy that is right at the moment. Here's another one. The ball. Now this one isn't timed as good because some of those pros with the super fast cameras got this one where that ball is actually hitting him in the wrist. But I got the ball right in front of him. You can tell by the look on his face he's already like bracing because he knows it's going to hurt. Catcher's reaching up pretty high, so you can tell it's a pretty bad pitch. Another one where the ball is almost touching the Florida player's glove, just kind of like this. You see all the crowd behind him. You see all the yellow and purple from LSU behind the Florida player. It's kind of cool. Here's one. Florida player just hit the ball. You can see it kind of going off the bat. Nothing too special, but a lot of times that ball, when they're throwing a 100-mile-an-hour pitch and it's hitting the bat and going right back off in the other direction, unless you have one of the really fast cameras, it's something I don't get as often. And a lot of times I don't even shoot unless there's nothing else on the field going on that I want to be prepared for. That's when I shoot the batter. But if there's a runner on base, or if you see all the players have really shifted, some of these teams were doing shifts where the first baseman or the second baseman was over behind first base, and then the shortstop was over where second base, and the third base would be behind second base, and there'd be no one on third. See a situation like that, I kind of know, I need to focus on something out in the field and not worry about the batter. So there was nothing going on the field. Got a picture of the batter hitting the ball. Florida's pitcher, again, well lit. Just kind of like, it looks like he's taking a deep breath with his mouth open like that. So thought it was interesting. Another one with the Florida player almost hitting the ball. Here we got a UCLA guy, just caught the ball and he's just kind of falling into the fence, which I thought was pretty cool. We got some fans above him that are kind of reacting to the catch, so threw that one in there. Here, nothing too special. You got the second baseman or the shortstop, and then the base runner kind of both looking at home plate. Get the sun in their face. It was just well lit. It's another reason I added this one. No real action to it. Here we got a couple of LSU players in the dugout clapping. Kind of have some interesting, serious looks on their face. Thought that was fun. This is right after the Florida pitcher. He stepped funny out coming off the mound after throwing a pitch. And so you got the umpire and the coach and the third baseman there. The trainer was in the picture, but I think he is kind of out off the side of the picture now. Just threw that one in there because that kind of tells the story that there was an injury and adds to the story. Here's one where the LSU player slide into second base and the Florida player doesn't even have the ball yet. You can see the ball is still about 2 feet away from his glove, so he's safe by a long shot. This one I just kind of liked that the base runner, you can tell he's getting ready to round third, and then the Florida player's just laying on his back after he had missed the ball. Here's one where the LSU player slide in the second base, and the Florida player is reaching out over him so he doesn't step on, interfere with him, trying to catch the ball. Just kind of a lot going on there. Dirt spraying in the air, and the Florida body stretched out as far as it could be, and the LSU player's helmet's kind of knocked off. So just a lot going on in that picture. Here you got one. LSU just scored. You can see all the players kind of celebrating with their arms crossed. It's kind of a fun picture. Here's one that at first glance you think the LSU player's just going home and the Florida player's ready to tag him. But if you look real closely at the LSU player's left ankle, you will know that was the last step he took in that ballpark. He was helped off the field after he actually was jumping. He went to jump and rolled his ankle, jumped over the catcher, and then was in a boot the rest of the night. And the players actually, when the LSU won the championship, had to help him back on the field to celebrate. So pretty gruesome. I don't usually include injuries, but just kind of that was part of the storyline of that night, so I did add it in there. This one's kind of cool that the ball is just about in the Florida player's glove, and the LSU player still has quite a long ways to slide, so not nearly as safe as the last guy. This, I don't know, this is one of those pictures now looking back. I don't know why I included it. I probably should have left it out. There's nothing special. He's obviously running hard. You can tell by his legs and how much he's leaned out, and you'll see in the next picture that he's actually going to slide it around the base, slide into third. So, the two pictures kind of work together, but I always try to make sure the picture can stand alone by itself, and it's probably one of the most or the least interesting of this group. So, and then here we got the same guy sliding into third, and then that must have been the last one I put in my series, because now we're on to confetti. Lots and lots of confetti as LSU won the championship. So all these were shot with the 5D Mark III. And then the reason it goes from him sliding in the third to confetti is after when LSU got into the ninth, I switched and I actually put the Sigma 150 to 600 on my new Canon R5. I did take that out there for the last couple innings, and I put my wide angle lens on the 5D Mark III. Right in front of the camera well, there's a railing, and you're not really supposed to sit anything on the railing. You're not supposed to put your arm on the railing, and it's not any kind of baseball rule. It's the other photographers will yell at you if you block their shot. So basically everything needs to be inside that rail, nothing's on top of it. But when it was down to the last couple outs, everyone was focused out in the field. No one's looking back towards the other team's dugout. So what I ended up doing was I set the Canon 5D Mark III, which I guess I don't have it because I sent it in to get cleaned. I set it up on the rail, and I had my finger on the button, and then I had the big lens on the Canon R5. And so when the team stormed the field, I just was working this camera with my hand, and I was just holding the button down on the wide angle lens on the R5. So I got the team celebrating on the field. You can see them up on the scoreboard. It says LSU wins the title. Another one, even more confetti. I think by this point, I had stopped with the big lens and actually kind of turned out and got a little more zoomed in on the team with all the confetti. The confetti was different this year. I don't know what was different, but there was a ton of it, and it was going way in the air, and it was raining down on us. It was actually really cool. So then going back into the game, I had switched lens in that last inning, or switched cameras in that last inning. So here's a couple more action shots, but these were taken with the R5. You got the players saluting one of the players that had I think he got a double. I believe that was what happened. You got a guy sliding in the home plate here, and then a couple players in the dugout celebrating. Got all the fans kind of with their arms in the air. Just a kind of a cool overall shot. The Florida catcher's just kind of standing there in disbelief. You got another guy that scored. The whole team is out. Hands in the air, celebrating. Fans kind of celebrating above them. A lot of these, when they come in the home plate, sometimes I try to zoom out and get a little more of the players above their head. Here's the closer throwing a couple pitches. And then this is Florida's last batter. You can see that the cool thing about this one is the Florida player is just gripping you. You just see the stress on his face. And then you have all the LSU players, most of them with one leg already out of the dugout, ready to charge the field when they win, down to the last out. And then, of course, looking in the crowd, every person in the crowd has their cell phone out. Very, very few people are actually watching the game. They all have their cell phones out. The only thing that I don't hate it, but the Florida player's not in focus because with that long lens, that 600 millimeter zoomed in, the LSU players and the fans behind him are all in focus, but that Florida player's just a little bit out of focus because he's actually in front of the focus plane because he's probably 20 feet in front of those LSU players, so not impossible to get everything in focus. And I'm glad I got the LSU players. I focused on the LSU players, and he's just in there kind of telling. You can still tell he's stressed. So, and then here's right after that last out, the LSU players hopping out of the dugout, charging the field, and then here's kind of like the initial group coming together right before they go into the dog pile. You can see the players with the water bottles spraying each other. There must be someone behind the players spraying in the back of the head too, because you can see droplets of water right above the catcher and the pitcher. Just really cool image. Just all the expressions. You can tell everyone is excited and happy they won. So, and then this is the absolute cleanest dog pile photo I got in a long time. I love the guy on the left there diving in on the top. He's 5 feet in the air, it looks like, and then the guy just kind of leaning back into the pile with his number one in the air. Just really cool picture. They made some changes this year that each team can only have one person run out on the field with the camera, and they kind of, I believe, had to stay in certain areas. And then so the photographers we all had clean shots at it, and that never happens. For the last, I don't know how many years, there's just so many other people with cameras around the dog pile. You just didn't get a clean shot. So really happy the way they did it this year. Really worked out. I got a clean shot. I think a lot of other photographers did too. So pretty awesome. Just another one with the confetti. So much confetti. And then probably the best picture I got with the trophy. There was the trophy when they gave it out was, they go out into the field and they hand it to one of the players and they kind of in the pile hold it up. But there was so much going on at that point. I never really got a good clean shot at it. I think people on the first base side got a better shot at it. So I just got this picture with John Bishop, the radio guy. He's a local guy. Got a picture with him interviewing the player holding the trophy. And then team photo. They take a little more formal team photo after, but there's so much that goes on between when this photo was taken and when that photo was. I was ready to just go start editing my photos. And, what this picture doesn't show is, all right, you got all the players that are holding up their signs, their newspapers, they're all happy. But next to me, behind me, there's 50, 60 other photographers all trying to get the same shot. So, in fact, I got a clean one. They're not looking at me. They're looking at the team photographer, about 2 people over from me. But it's good enough. So, again, it's always fun. It's a ton of work. Like, getting there, getting motivated to go down there is the hardest. Because especially when even when you do have parking, you still got to walk away. You still got to deal with all the crowds. Once you get in the stadium, it's fun. It's just getting there is work. And then it's some long days. I was still going to work, working days. And then at night, some of the games were at night. And then on the weekends, it was why I really like doing the College World Series. When it's over, I'm kind of like, yep, that was just enough, or I'll come back and do it again next year. But I'm totally ready for it to be done for this year. So lots of fun. Been doing it long enough. There's a few people that you see every year. It's kind of changed. There's not as many of the old school people that you used to get to see every year, but still a lot of fun, a lot of action, great access to being down in the field, taking pictures of basically the best college baseball players in the country. So, well, that's going to do it for this Beer with Brad. Number 29. Remember, next month is my annual question and answer video, so be sure to submit your questions, message them to me on any of my social media, or just email Brad at bradwilliamsphotography.com. Look forward to answering. Always a fun episode, and hope everyone enjoyed their 4th of July. And thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again next month.